5 p.m. broadcast start. Let's go into the last quarterfinals match here and see who will be moving on to face off against the 4.
You've got one more chance to see if there's a Haven deck represented in the tournament today. It's going to be a Shadow Mirror matchup. We'll see what unique additions and compositions these players have added to their decks. Those little advantages that they'll be able to take away that will mean the difference between victory or defeat in this round of 8 game.
There's no more M. Bison, unfortunately.
No. No, not today. But there is a great 2-3 drop from Noire and not a single 1 drop for either player.
All right. So the Shadow Reaper.
Ah, now we just came into the 1 drop. Oh, that's gotta feel bad.
Yeah. Still definitely a way to make use of it to kind of even out a curve on maybe, you know, turn 4, you play a 3 and a 1, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, playing the Skull Beast and then Prince Catacomb on turn 4. Definitely a good play.
Yeah. But you might just play the Catacomb.
I think Noire is deciding whether or not to use Zombie Party on the Sergeant or summon his own Sergeant.
Definitely, that was a line of play that we saw earlier, actually.
Right.
To deny that follower on board. But
right.
in many ways, you could think about kind of the difficulties of fighting for board in that fashion against Shadow. Looks like that's going to be the choice. Certainly, you did not have any followers on the board yourself, so you can't really justify kind of letting a board be.
Right, but clearing the board, Acterox just came into Soul Conversion. So he's going to be able to, he could summon the Skull Beast and then Soul Conversion the Skull Beast, clearing the board again, but you get more cards in your hand as well, and more shadows.
Yeah, that play gives you a ton of shadows here. Soul Conversion counts as 1 as well.
Yeah. So it's already turn 4, and he's got 5 shadows. That currency is definitely going to make the difference.
As well with that. Bone Chimera is going to be the turn 3 play for Noire. He's got Prince Catacomb there too.
Interesting choice to give Noire the 2 skeletons to kind of play with next turn. And he doesn't have a 1 drop, but he does have Catacomb.
Yep. Turn 4 is important because you can play Shadow Reaper and aid it with another card, and Sergeant is not bad, right?
And now you can trade the 2 skeletons into the Reaper as well, making that just an absolute beast. It's still got Ambush, and it's already on 3/3.
Yeah. Of course, the ideal situation that we've seen earlier is a double Shadow Reaper on turn 4, but that's super unlikely.
Yeah, really unlikely, but definitely feels good when you can get it in the game. Evolving, just to be sure, it's not going to be able to clear it off by something like a Foul Tempest, which is a card we don't really see that often, but it has massive effect, especially knowing that Acterox had 6 shadows. A lot of shadows, enough shadows to activate the 3 damage from the Foul Tempest.
So again, we find a situation where one of the Shadowcraft players, specifically the one that went first, is having to fight for board control and spending evolution orbs to do so. Let's see if that translates here. Gonna buff up the Shadow Reaper 1 more. The play here is interesting, right? Ideally on this turn, you would love to trade more with cards you have on board, but because Catacomb is not played, there's no skeletons on the field.
Right. He's going to be able to get rid of the Catacomb and go for face for a significant amount of damage. If he evolved the Catacomb and traded that in, he could have done 7 damage instead of 6. But I think having the Sergeant at 4/1 with still the last word summon a skeleton is going to be crucial. It's going to be huge.
Death's Breath is an interesting option here. You need to reach 6 damage to remove that Shadow Reaper, which is awkward with what you have on board. Your own Shadow Reaper is not quite that buff. You can throw a skeleton in to make it 3/3, and that brings it a little bit closer. But even with Evolve, you need to...
He could evolve Cerberus and the skeleton as well. That'd be 6 damage as well. Killing the Shadow Reaper and buffing up your own one.
Throwing Cerberus and skeleton in.
Right.
But then that's 2 cards for the Shadow Reaper, and you leave the... unless you spend your Mimi card.
Right.
Leaving the Sergeant up there. There it is. And that's a smart choice.
Yeah.
I think.
Keeping your Reaper safe while getting rid of the opponent's Reaper. Really great play from Acterox.
Noire not drawing the most useful card in this scenario. Maybe he can return the favor by using Cerberus of Zone.
He could. He could Lyrial Archer, evolve that, attack into the Reaper. That would destroy them both. And then Catacomb again, if he wanted to. He still has got options for that as well. Or Cerberus as well, being able to trade the Cerberus and evolved would leave it alive with 1 health and give you the Coco and Mimi. The currency, that's going to be absolutely crucial. Those options.
Lyrial, to me, as an option, seems slightly more sensible. Because on the next turn, you can play Cerberus and Coco and Mimi on the same turn.
That's true.
Giving you a lot of threat. Having that second Catacomb drop is going to ensure that you have a board when that turn comes around to gain maximum effect out of the Coco and Mimi.
Right, that's true, but there is the 2 Death's Breaths in the hand of Acterox. So even if you have the full board with followers enhanced by Coco and Mimi, with that damage, that's 9 points of ward that you're going to have to chew through.
Destiny calls.
It's going to be Erd. He resets the Shadow Reaper and swings the Skeleton.
And it doesn't gain ambush as well. Upon being resummoned by Erd.
Yeah. Fanfare effects typically do not activate when they're being summoned in that sense.
Right. Pro tips.
Mostly needs to be played from hand.
Yeah.
For those things to activate.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. There's a potential to make that Shadow Reaper real strong.
Yeah, very strong.
He's going for it. He's just going for the great trade.
And he's still got enough orbs to play Cerberus.
Yeah, and I think that might be a good option to do, just to make sure that all the zombies are cleared. Now, he has a second instance of Death's Breath.
What are you hiding inside?
He could evolve the Catacomb.
He could evolve it, but that wouldn't kill it off. That wouldn't kill off the Catacomb. It would get rid of the zombie. So the Skeleton dying here, that's going to make the Shadow Reaper even stronger if he attacks that, and he's going to evolve the Catacomb. Yeah.
Dance, dear bones of white.
We'll see. He's not going to... It's interesting. He didn't choose to attack the Skeleton into the...
I think that was smart just because in this next turn, if there's a board clear option for Hacterox, which he likely will want to board clear, that Skeleton's going to die anyways. And before he swings on the turn after that, on Noire's next turn here, he could just choose to trade in his Skeleton at that point in time.
How long has that Skeleton been on the field? It could have 2 summoned Skeletons on it.
Yeah, that's possible. I think it's just 1, but it's definitely possible. A Skeleton may have lived a very long life as a Skeleton.
You're like, yeah, that's possible, shaking your head.
Tough situation here. You need to remove the board, but every card you remove is just buffing up the Shadow Reaper. You have no Evolve Orbs. Just warding up. And this is basically free pickings for Noire to decide how exactly he wants to set up his board, his own board here.
And one of the Skeletons that can attack this turn, it doesn't have the last word summon a Skeleton, so he's still got enough space on his board to summon Cerberus. If, for instance, they all had the last words, the board just would have been full with 5 followers the whole time. But now he's able to play Cerberus and get that Coco and Mimi. Clear up the board. We'll see how much face damage he's able to actually get this turn. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough to finish the game, but that's a massive advantage for Noire.
He's got 9 ready to go. The other grievance here is there isn't a way to force the Lurching Corpse to even die. So that's not even a real removal option. Oh, the Ector. But there's still so much health on that Shadow Reaper. It's
yeah. Still, 2 skeletons, or excuse me, 2 zombies enhanced by Ector would be enough to finish it off.
The Ector is interesting because if you play that, you don't have the option to play Grimner.
Right. I think by this time, when you're on turn 9 and turn 10 is just around the corner, I think you really want to save that Grimnir for a massive turn 8 play, especially when only one of the skeletons has the last word summon a skeleton.
So he thinks for a little while and then plays the Skull Beast.
This head can't be taken.
1 point left for Coco still.
Right.
Gonna give the Skull Beast rush. trades against the Shadow Reaper. That was a big pain.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a thorn in Acterox's side that's now dealt with.
Should be crashing into the skeletons that have don't have the last word effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving.
He doesn't see it.
Doesn't see the options. That's going to be Acterox tapping out.
That's actually so interesting to me.
Yeah. There was only one card in the hand of Noire.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't remember the health level that he was at. It's being covered now. But if he had cleared, he could have cleared it out. 2 more of the skeletons, left 2 on the board. Sparta Sergeant isn't going to affect the board in any way.
Right.
It would just basically be on the top deck.
But I guess Acterox didn't know what that card was going to be, and there's still the draw next turn as well, so that's
draw.
2 possible options.
I mean, it's definitely winnable, unless he was at 2 health and I'm just misremembering. Unless he was at 2 health and
I think he had more than health. It was 3 or 4.
Yeah. Real close. Sometimes you just got to make your opponent prove it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make your opponent prove it.
But mad props to Acterox. I mean, he felt like he was beaten. Maybe even knew it.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, really great play.
That's interesting, too, because he has Grimner in hand, He
Mhm.
knows that if he could just make it to the next turn, there's a possibility that he could start swinging things in favor.
Right.
And as far as direct damage to face, I'm thinking really hard, and maybe the only one is the Rabbit Necromancer.
Mm-hmm. Rabbit Necromancer. There is a card, I don't know the name
I
of
guess
it.
he could run neutral cards like Dance to Death.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You summon it, and there's a Shadowcraft card. You summon it, and if you have 4 shadows, it does 4 damage directly to face.
Mhm.
And it's a 7 cost, has 5 attack, 4 defense.
Yeah.
Cursed soldier, cursed
Yeah.
something. It's something cursed. Everything in Shadowcraft is cursed.
Yeah. Cursed. You know what else is cursed?
Oh, our axis of evil, so to speak.
So it looks like we will go another tournament without seeing Havencraft represented.
We really wanted to destroy this piece of paper. I specifically wanted to. I think that'd be hilarious destroying.
But we cannot do so.
Yeah.
Under Aya Senpai's guidance. If we attempt to destroy this paper before the right time,
That's right.
then we will be cursed ourselves.
I don't want to be cursed. Would you? No. Don't want to deal with that. So, alas, we saved the tome for another day. Another day, another tome.
Wow, so interesting outcome. Obviously, last week's NGE Open kind of shaped this week's in a small fashion in terms of just like the decks that we get to see
Right.
and what people bring in. It seems like people are pretty down the middle about Swordcraft and Dragoncraft. I feel like we've seen a very even amount of that. And in fact, I feel like in this particular iteration of the tournament, Dragoncraft has come out on top just slightly.
Just slightly, yeah. It's almost like if there's a pyramid, so to speak, right at the top of the pyramid, right here, there's Shadowcraft, right? With mid-range aggro as well. And then the next 2 points down are mid-range sword and also dragon, with its 2 main archetypes.
So, we'll see. I mean, I would love to see how the JCG tournament winner made it through with Havencraft, as well as just previously. I mean, we've seen some incredible things actually from the JCG region in terms of dimensional shift as well, making it through.
Absolutely.
In the meta, there have been some very, very big curiosities. Those tournaments are not small.
And also Forestcraft as well. We've seen the Jungle Board decks take first place, and also the more traditional, traditional I say, but the decks not utilizing Jungle Warden that have White Wolf and Silverbolt, but have the new edition Elf Queen and Crystalia Aerin as well.
Certainly a good diversity. Those tournaments are no joke as well. They're single elimination best of 3s, and they are thousands of people large.
Jeez.
Thousands. Just a sea of people. You have
So
to
that-
swim through participants.
So to win with the Haven Tech, you've gotta climb that
You've
ladder
got to win rounds,
with
man.
all of its greasy rungs. You're just climbing up constantly. Oh man.
Yeah.
That was an image I don't want to go back to that.
Skeletons just jumping on your back, trying to drag you down.
Fighting through all kinds of zombie parties. Yeah.
Yeah. Zombie parties, exactly. If you fall down the ladder on the bottom, the zombies are still partying, and they're like, "Oh, it's just the food delivery?"
That was the one. I told myself, you know what? It's tempting. I'm only going to give myself one zombie party joke or one skeleton party joke. That was it.
That's all.
We're done.
There's no more.
Arthur, holding you to it.
The jokes are dead, Coco. I'm sorry. Look how upset you've made him.
Yeah, he's real upset.
He wants more.
Even his eyes are like downcast.
Yeah. That's his brethren, He's Shadowcraft.
Yep. No.
That's his brethren, Cerberus. Hey, I would love to see more of the Street Fighter characters. Who was the representative for Havencraft?
Oh, jeez.
I know Sword is Chun-Li.
Uh-huh.
I know Forest is Cammy.
Yeah.
I know that
If you were to
Dragon.
ask me, like, just name off Street Fighter characters, probably Cammy was like the one I could like name off the top
What
of my
about
head.
Ryu and Ken?
Oh yeah, Ryu. Like, but
What about the Freedom Fighter, the man himself?
It's not like yeah, you're naming. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But like
Yeah.
as far as like being on the top of my head,
the
just
top
like
of your head?
being able to spit them out.
Just
like,
Cammy?
Yeah, just Cammy. She's definitely like, I feel like the staple. I mean, like I recognize her. Everybody knows Cammy.
Yeah,
Like Ryu is
that's true.
definitely more famous as
You
well
know,
too.
I'll give you that. You're right. You're right about that one.
Yeah.
So, here we are.
All those Cammy cosplays, man. I can't get enough of them.
I'm gonna have to put a mature filter on your browser here.
Come on.
Arthur doesn't
All
approve, but it is the second game of this round of 8.
Yeah, seems like there was some delay, some holdup, so we're gonna be catching up between Hacterox and Noire in their second game of their best of 3 series here. Noire is one step up after that intense Shadowcraft mirror.
Yeah.
What a situation to be in.
And we've seen how Shadowcraft can absolutely punish the sword deck, because the sword decks are, many of them,
Naval Guard Simone.
not a card we see that often, but I mean, really great when you get that 5/5 war.
I like how I
stellar
feel
card.
like you're talking faster because the replay is going.
The replay's going, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've got to keep up, and then talk about the cards. Oh, that's Grimnir on the field. Oh, that's probably going to be Soul Squasher next turn, maybe Lurching Corpse as well.
There
Okay,
doesn't seem to be like
that-
a lot of good options on the side. Of
That's got to
Shadowcraft.
stop real quick.
You're running out of things.
I run out of steam, running out of things to
Yeah.
talk about.
There was already very little steam to begin with. So Maid Leader, he's got 2 of them. He's going to
Yeah.
pull 2 commanders here. And he's got a solid hand going into the 5 play point and up.
Yeah, the Maid Leader getting to draw. The first one getting Albert and the second one getting the Mage. I mean, absolutely stellar. Would have been nice if both of them were Albert or both of them were the Mage. But, I mean, now you've got options.
Going to use the Soul Squasher on the Maid Leader, and I think that's fine, just because the other options in hand aren't super great. But it is actually a little bit concerning. You have 2 Death's Breath, so that can kind of extend your life in this particular match for a little while.
But he doesn't have enough shadows to get the enhanced ability.
But this situation is just,
Oh, took out the Maid. Oh, no.
God, no.
But he was able to draw Grimnir, and he's going to evolve that and be able to trade into the Mage, leaving Grimnir with 1 health, of course.
Yeah. So this is an interesting situation. Obviously, Mage is going to continuously fight you back the board.
Oh, man, and this Albert evolved with the Knight. That's so much
And
damage.
he's more than happy to spend these points, right?
Oh,
Because
interesting. He's evolving the Albert instead of the, I guess,
He
having-
wants. I mean, there's a few ways to look at it, right?
Right.
You get 7 health as opposed to 3,
Right.
right? The 7 health is much more difficult, and you want to maintain your Albert as well. Constantly swinging for 5, and in this situation, you still have the Knight to evolve.
Right.
And this is just a dangerous combination. Like, every single turn since turn 5 has just been going back and forth between Luminous, Mage, Albert, and he still has another Albert to come after that. Such strong turns.
and he's got a Fangblade Slayer next turn as well.
Dane comes down. Trying to make something happen. So unfortunately, the extra health is not really going to play into that situation as well.
It won't be long now.
But it does get the free evolve on Luminous Mage, and that's going to swing phase. He's going to wipe 1. He's coming very, very close to lethal, right? He has Fangblade Slayer, and then he has Enhanced Albert next turn.
Attacking the... Interesting that he went for the Immortal Thane and just giving the White King in the hand of Acterox.
Yeah.
So that now that's a ward with Bane next turn that he's going to have to chew through. But if it is going to be 0 cost, plus the Death's Breath or the Grimnir as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of wards that the Enhanced Albert is going to have to chew through. I don't think it's going to have much of a problem because he's got the 2 attacks. And you could also, because you have to get through the wards anyway, you can almost save that evolve point.
Yeah.
Oh man, that White King is going to be
And
so
all their
massive.
damage
But it didn't
values-
get the enhanced ability. He didn't have enough shadows.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because he has the opportunity to smash into 2 of them with Albert coming in enhanced, but then that also leaves Albert open to being removed. I wonder if the play is to try to use some combination of Genos, or maybe not even an enhanced Albert, to try to maximize the amount of cards he can clear.
Right, but you have to remember, you've got the Mage on the field as well. That's going to be a free evolve point for the Albert. So, you might as well, if you've got another evolve point next turn, if you want to evolve the Tsubaki or the Geno, for example. So there's a lot of options in the hand of Noire. Unfortunately, he's got 2 Tsubakis, and not really going to do much.
What's dangerous, too, is you can't... It's actually very important for Noire to clear the board just because Cerberus is coming up as well.
Right.
And if you have any amount of followers remaining, you only have 14 health. That's not a ton, right? With the 4 damage that comes with Cerberus, that starts to get real concerning.
Yeah, if Noire was able to draw a Fangblade Slayer next turn, maybe evolve the Albert this turn, you still have that Evolve Orb available next turn because you get the free one. And then that would be an Evolved Fangblade Slayer that's 5 damage right to face if there's a follower to available to attack, because I don't think that Noire is going to be able to completely clear off this board.
It's going to play Levin Vanguard. Angel of the Word. Spends the last Evolve Orb there, so if he wants to evolve Albert, the Mage needs to persist. Now Enhanced Albert will be able to do 6. And the situation is about the same as if he had played Albert.
And there's a turn 10 Grimnir.
Oh boy. And this could get real tough.
My Tempest shall judge you.
Gonna get the ward, wipe the board now. Fortunately, the 2 Knights will remain.
At your service.
You still got 2 Knights, and the Enhanced Albert is going to be able to take out both of those wards on the field for Acterox.
It's interesting, because he's lost his Mage now, so he won't be able to reach the King.
Right. But the King, it's not looking that scary, because it didn't get the enhanced ability. He didn't have enough shadows when he played it, so it's just a 3/4 follower. Still,
the scariest thing
it's 3 attack damage.
Is, the scariest thing is that at 10 health, you're within very lethal range for Shadowcraft top decks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
4 damage from Cerberus.
Oh man, a 3rd Tsubaki.
Yeah, and we talked about this, where Tsubaki's value against Shadowcraft is really diminished in many senses, right? It's so late game, but there still aren't really cards, and Cerberus is certainly not going to provide you that opportunity as well.
Right.
So he's just going to have to deal with the fact that 3 damage is on the board. That can be converted to 7. And it's just going to be a Sergeant. This is... he needs to play Cerberus and clear Albert.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the option here. He will be able to buff up the white and do enough damage to clear the board, but then there's still not many options in the hand of Acterox. That only leaves him with a Soul Conversion and a Sergeant. Of course, there's also not many options in the hand of Noire as well. Tsubaki, it does have Ambush, which is crucial. It won't be able to destroy a follower depending on what Acterox draws next turn.
It's going to be hard to remove.
It will be really hard to remove. And it's got 4 attack. Acterox, unfortunately, has 5 defense.
He needs an extra turn. Right, and you can't play 2 Tsubakis in 1 turn.
Yeah.
But if he gets a Tsubaki and something like a Novice Trooper, that could be a thing.
That could be a thing, absolutely.
Here comes a Cerberus. Maybe... Okay, I'm actually very okay with that.
And now, what a great draw. He's got the Skull Beast and the Catacomb as well. Definitely going to be able to make it really hard for Noire.
He needs to remove the Albert, though. He needs to buff up.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Play the Catacomb, trade, get a Skeleton, make the best out of that situation. So he will live another day. What's the top deck?
Ooh, Luminous Mage.
Mage can be tough.
You could Tsubaki this turn and then evolve the Knight next turn, giving Tsubaki 5 attack points. Knowing, I mean, doing that
is to pass the turn to Hacterox.
Right, exactly. What options do you think Noire thinks has in his hand? That's what it comes down to. He still has the Mimi and 12 shadows. But even with the shadows, with maybe like a lot of zombies from an Ector, if you were to draw that next turn, it wouldn't be able to clear out the Tsubaki because it'll still have Ambush. And that 5 attack damage that it'll have from the Evolved Knight, that could be enough to close out this game.
It's going to beat Tsubaki.
If Acterox can't close the game out here, oh no, that's 2 damage. That's not enough.
It's not enough, but it'll buff up.
It will buff up, yep. And he's got the Mimi as well.
6 available. I think it might be over.
I think it's over.
Oh, no.
We'll see how it plays out, but yeah, I think that's going to be it. He
What a situation.
He can't attack the Tsubaki. Oh, no.
Wow, that ambush is really, really coming in big right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, but Hacterox really played out the situation smartly. He's getting as much board control as he can because he knows that...
Oh, the Alwi does too, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, there was more than enough options in the deck.
Yeah, it was a matter of time before he drew into Storm, right? Because we mentioned, even if he got Novice Trooper in that combo, it was just a matter of whether he could play that and then pass the turn, which he did. He played Tsubaki and had to pass the turn, and there was not a big enough punish in the hand of Hacterox.
Right, yeah.
So, in that situation, Hacterox falls.
Yeah, Noire able to advance to the semifinals with a 2-0 victory.
That's, I feel like we've seen a lot of 2-1s today. The 2-0 seems very rare, but Noire, very strong. Another Swordcraft.